From Chesapeake, Virginia, WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, thank you very much, Joe Daniel, on this beautiful August 9th. I know Joe Daniel's feeling extra special today as well. We are live as always. This is Sports Scene, interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com. Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at gjbtv, hronlinemall.com, and HRSMHOF. That is Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. The website is launched at hrsmhof.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup as well. Sponsors on gjbtv.com. Marketplace sponsors. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 great locations in Virginia Beach. You can see their link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Speaking of which, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Bookmark it. That's the website to browse, shop, and visit in Hampton Roads for locals and tourists. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Overall show presented by Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. That's Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. Twitter, HRSMHOF. And, of course, the website is HRSMHOF.com. In the news, Jay Cutler leaving Fox, going to the Dolphins. Former Bears quarterback. Major League Baseball in full swing. Tides playing very well. Preseason football is here. Summer is still around, so enjoy it. Of course, a lot going on with great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene each Wednesday from 12 to 1. And we love our regulars and newcomers as well, and the tourists listening to 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Stay tuned to Sports Scene after these messages.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, back live right here on Sports Scene on this very beautiful summer day in Hampton Roads. We so needed the rain, but we also needed the sunshine as well. As Sports Scene continues, the only show remaining from Red Zebra Broadcasting in Virginia Beach. Of course, the Redskins summer camp winding down as they get their preseason schedule underway as well. We've had this gentleman on Sports Scene on this station before, a longtime interviewer at Channel 10. He was a reporter there, had a show on Channel 13, involved with his communications firm now. Let's call it Mr. Virginia Beach, Joel Rubin. How are you, buddy?
Thanks, Greg. It's great to be with you again. How are you?
You too, my friend. Let me get your thoughts, too, because you're all over the state. Your thoughts on the Redskins winding up their camp year 5 in Richmond. The novelty might have worn off, but I guess there's always that excitement at the beginning of the season.
Well, I know there's always been a debate up in Richmond as to whether the city spent too much money on it and all this, and how many people are going out there to see it, and whether it's a value. But certainly for Redskins fans, it's great to have the players from Hampton Roads, at least, 100 miles away or less, depending on where you're driving from. So it is exciting as we get close to the season starting.
Absolutely. Let's talk about what you've been up to a lot. I know you attend a lot of meetings and so forth with civic charity organizations as well as your communications firm in the city of Virginia Beach. What's up with the arena? What's the latest?
Well, we're waiting, and I'm waiting, and everybody's waiting to get word that we have completed the financing on the project. They have until September 7th to close on that, and so I'm waiting, like everybody else is, for all the documents to be signed and agreements. There's a lot of lawyers involved, as you can imagine, with various and sundry people, the banks, the developer, the arena operator. And so I'm waiting for the smoke to come out of the chimney just like everybody else, but we're certainly confident it's going to happen, and we're going to get finally a major state-of-the-art 15,000 seat permanent seats can be expanded to 18 for certain events sports and entertainment arena down near the oceanfront.
Is the oceanfront always still going to be the number one entertainment in Virginia Beach? I was at the amphitheater Saturday, and you go to Tides games as well. And it's kind of sad to see the amphitheater, doesn't draw like they used to. It was half full, but I still know they rely some on the tourists during the summertime because, people like to travel when they see nice groups. It's still a great night out in Virginia Beach.
Well, I was at the Chicago and Doobie Brothers concert a week ago Sunday, and it was pretty full that night. So I think it sort of varies based on the act, like anything else, just like a game or a performance or anything. So we have not had a new arena in Virginia, actually, since the early 70s, unless you talk about like John Paul Jones Arena up in Charlottesville or the Ted Constance Center, but certainly one in Hampton Roads. I mean, Scope, the Hampton Coliseum were both like 1971 and 72 and are, old as far as new technology and ability to host major music concerts. So I think that people are going to be really excited about something brand new coming to the region so they don't have to drive to Washington or Raleigh or Charlottesville to be able to see great acts, and also sports tournaments and the potential, obviously, for a major league NBA or NHL team, which can't happen unless you have the venue.
Absolutely. As you probably know, that Chuck Hall and myself, we just started the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame for next year in 2018. And you're the chairman, of course, of the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. And as you know, you're a Virginia Beach guy like a lot of us are. And, of course, that building is no longer in existence in Portsmouth. And I know they're planning on, like you've said so eloquently to the media, about putting the different plaques and different awards throughout Virginia Beach and the town center. What's the latest on that? And I guess I got a lot of questions. Why is the website shut down?
Well, if you go there right now, we had to take down the website because obviously it was promoting a museum, and the building is now closed over in Portsmouth. So we didn't want to confuse people by attracting them to come over to
Sure.
a building that's the building's still there. All of our stuff is still in there, but we just could not afford to continue operating a museum without what every other museum has and cultural arts attraction, which is a lot of government money to subsidize the attraction. That money went away in Portsmouth. That's the reason it was able to be built and financed and remain open. And we certainly did not dispute what Portsmouth chose to do over the last number of years, but it's impossible to go raise those kind of dollars to operate a building when you can't possibly get enough people into the building over the course of a year. It has to be subsidized, just like every museum or performance hall in the area. So we had no choice. So we had to completely look at our business model, which every nonprofit from Colonial Williamsburg on down is having to look at their model of how they operate in an era of declining government assistance. And so we had to make a tough decision to get out of the real estate business. And so we have come up with this new model where we're working with Armada Hoffler over here that runs Town Center in Virginia Beach, which is a wonderful attraction. And they've got terrific lobbies for their hotels and office towers. So we're going to create a free pedestrian tour of displays in a variety of these buildings, from the Clark Nexon Tower and Armada Hoffler Tower and the Westin Hotel and Columbus, 2 Columbus Center, and also over at Pembroke Mall. So you can walk around and see our things and then go eat and shop, etc., in Town Center. And then we're also going to be staging a number of programs, really fun topical programs, and I'd love to tell you, Greg, about our first one because it's coming up here in about 2 weeks.
Sure, absolutely. We'll talk about that in just a few moments, but I totally agree with you, too. It's a shame what's going on with the whole ERC, Norfolk and Portsmouth. I've had tourists tell me this. You're well-connected. You used to work at Wavy right there where the heart of that tunnel is. The state police have to monitor more. For people to get double and triple charged, for a guy to have thousands of dollars of bills, for Andy Fox to constantly have to go over there, your former colleague, and to do stories when people upset, they can complain about Virginia Beach and the old tolls we had when I was a kid over near Rosemont Road that was 25 cents. But this has been a PR PR disaster for the entire state of Virginia. It's embarrassing to the governor, the attorney general, the VDOT, and everything that they're double and triple charging people. They just have not got it right from the beginning, Joel.
Well, I won't get into the politics of all that and how that project, sort of came about. Obviously, it was a state public-private partnership project and includes tolls for 60 years that can continue going up. And so it certainly has been a financial burden for a number of people. And it has probably inhibited a lot of people from coming over to Portsmouth to see the attractions, which include Children's Museum and the amphitheater they have over there, which is a nice place, and
Sure.
and other things, the Commodore Theater, etc. And so it does make it more difficult to attract visitors from outside of Portsmouth or from Western Tidewater. So that didn't make things any better for us in terms of being able to sustain ourselves in Portsmouth. But even if that museum was on Atlantic Avenue in Virginia Beach or Main Street in Norfolk or Broad Street in Richmond, it would still need substantial assistance from probably some bodies of government, state or local, to be able to make payroll and cover our expenses. So that's why our board had to take a hard look at how we operated and reduce our operating costs by getting out of a building. I like to say Eddie Webb is our president, and his father, Paul, who was a great coach in Petersburg and Randolph-Macon, Petersburg High and Randolph-Macon, and at Old Dominion, obviously. He's in 7 Hall of Fames, but only one of them has a building, and that's ours.
Wow.
So the reality is you do not have to have a museum to be a Hall of Fame. Obviously, last week in Canton, Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame inducted more people, including Jerry Jones and our own Ken Easley here, who's from Chesapeake. The Baseball Hall of Fame was 2 weeks ago, and that's a real museum. But I'm sure those are avidly supported by their leagues. You don't have that with state Hall of Fames, and there's a number of them across the country. Ours just happens to be privately owned by a foundation, the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. It's not owned by the state, not owned by a city. So we have to stand on our own. We got to cover our expenses, and if the money is not, if you can't raise enough privately to run a building, then you can't run a building.
Right.
And so you have to do something different. So that's what we're doing here in Virginia Beach. And our first event is going to be for people who love fantasy football. It's called Pro Football Fantasy Fest, and it will be on August 24th, Thursday night, right before everybody drafts. They draft the next weekend or the following weekend. So Andy Fox from Wavy TV, who is as he'll tell you, a 6-time fantasy league champion and a commissioner of his league, will be emceeing an event. We'll have other fantasy champions, including, by the way, the Secretary of Public Safety for Virginia, Brian Moran,
Nice.
who won his league in the governor's office last year. He'll be here, plus some others, and Kenny Easley will be here, and William Fuller, who's was an All-Pro with the Oilers and the Eagles. He'll be here, and then a bunch of other people, including, I hope, folks in your audience who love fantasy football and want to get a leg up on everybody in their leagues. You go to our Facebook page for the Hall of Fame, Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, and just RSVP to us. You can pay $25 at the door. We're going to have a great taco bar and a cash bar, and it's going to be just a fun night, Thursday, August 24th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Westin Hotel in Town Center, and we'll, obviously give everybody an update on what's going on with our move over to Virginia Beach. But we're going to be doing a lot of programming over the years as we transition. This will be our first one.
I think that's smart. We got about 8 or 9 more minutes. So I want to get a lot of topics in here with you, some vignettes here. And that's just the way it is. Cities and states throughout the country and a lot of Hall of Fames are cutting back, and that's just a sign of the times. We're more internet-based. We're more mobile-based. We're more online-based. The younger people, the millennials, are not as interested, and you're doing the right thing. One thing I want to ask you about, Harry Minium wrote, we had him on Sports Scene last week, that nobody from the city of Chesapeake, as far as the mayor, the city manager, was there in attendance for Easley's Hall of Fame induction. You agree that somebody from the mayor's office of Chesapeake should have been there in Canton?
Well, it would have been nice. There's there's two sides to that coin.
Sure.
Because I was going to go out there too, but it's expensive, to fly out there, to get the tickets, stay in the hotel and all this. So I'm sure some people would have been complaining that the city of Chesapeake was spending taxpayer dollars sending the mayor or whoever, out there. I mean, it's not fair to ask Alan Krasnoff to pay his own way to go out there. So I see both sides to that. It certainly would have been nice. I know when they retired Bruce Smith's number up in Buffalo that some folks from Virginia Beach went out there, or Norfolk. I can't remember. I get it. But they are going to be honoring Kenny at Oscar Smith's first game on the 25th of August, and the mayor and I'm sure lots of other city officials will be there, and I think that's certainly appropriate to honor this guy. I mean, when Kenny Easley signed with UCLA back in the late 70s, I was reporting at Wavy and doing sports, and remember going over to this little house that he lived in South Norfolk. And Terry Donahoe, as my recollection, was the coach at UCLA, and was there to sign up Kenny Easley, who at the time I believe was only the second athlete in the history of the state of Virginia after Arthur Ashe to get an athletic scholarship to UCLA. So he made us real proud at UCLA, all Pac-10 4 years in a row, and then of course during his abbreviated career with Seattle, because as I think you might have read in the piece that Harry wrote last week. Before the induction, Kenny had serious kidney problems. He's had 3 transplants. Right. And, all a result of the treatment that he got for all the pain and injuries that all these football players go through. So he's had a very challenging life, but he's been very good to our Hall of Fame. We're very proud of him, Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, where he was inducted back in 1998, and continues to do great things in our community and for kids. So I hope the Chesapeake folks will come out on the 25th of August and honor Kenny along with the city of Chesapeake.
Yeah, because that's a unique date. That's before school starts and people are starting to get their vacations, the last-minute vacations. So that'll be interesting, like you said, who will attend. I think it'll still be a pretty good attendance regardless of prior to Labor Day.
They're playing a national power that night. I think a team from Florida, I believe.
And
so it's a big game.
Yeah, they've had some games on ESPN like that before in the past, but not this year. All right, real quick, have you ever seen anything going on like North Korea? It's a ticking time bomb right now.
Well, I tell you, it is. And, you've got one young leader and one older leader who is very inexperienced in these things and sort of tends to pop off when the camera is on. I sure hope that nobody's going to start attacking anybody. That would be a disaster on so many fronts. And so, I'm very, like every other American, in fact, everybody around the world is very concerned about all this saber rattling going on, and I wish, Tillerson or somebody could calm it all down as soon as possible, because this is serious stuff.
Sure is. And of course, when you talk about it too, like you said, you got Trump, who's, first 200 plus days still fairly new. And this gentleman, if you call him a person, the North Korean guy is just, living in an isolated bubble from the world. And the sad part is, Joel, South Korea is going to get the brunt of it if something happens.
Well, no question about it. I mean, they say that something can reach the west coast of the United States and certainly Guam. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But, Trump criticized Obama for red lines in Syria. Well, now he may be laying down a red line in North Korea. So that's not a good thing when you got hotheads on either side here. I just don't understand the calculus of why either side would want to get involved in some kind of war. I mean, this is bad for everybody.
All right, I want to ask you 2 more questions. Your thoughts on the governor's race. Doesn't have the buzz it's had in the past, maybe not as sexy as it's been in the past, but it still should be intriguing, especially like it always is after Labor Day.
It's going to be huge because in these odd years, it's only us in New Jersey that have statewide elections, and the New Jersey one is not going to be nearly as interesting as the one here in Virginia, and everybody will be looking at it as a test of Trump and the Democrats. So there'll be a lot of money poured into this thing. I'm sure it's going to get very bitter. Both men seem to be good candidates, thoughtful. Obviously, Gillespie's never held office, but he certainly ran for the Senate. Ralph has been northern, state senator from Eastern Shore in Norfolk, and then lieutenant governor. So it's going to be a real interesting contest between these two with a lot of national implications. because of the media has nothing else to cover election-wise in November except this one.
Right, and of course, I know you're a Virginia fan. You also attend a lot of Old Dominion games. I've seen you at Tides games. Can Virginia at least get to 500 this year, Joel, in football?
Boy, I think they have 8 of their 12 games are at home, so the schedule couldn't be lined up better for them. They're playing Indiana and Connecticut, and I think William and Mary outside besides Boise State. So you would think on paper that if they could win, 3-4 games in the ACC, then maybe they could get to 500 this year. So we're all keeping our fingers crossed. Obviously, Tech is hot, but Virginia's still got some ways to go. But at least this schedule's a whole lot better for Bronco than the last one that Mike London had to deal with a couple of years ago. So we're hopeful.
What is your last thing? What is your thoughts on all these roundtables? Every time you turn the news on at night, Fox News Channel or CNN, it's always 10 people in a group discussion trying to get a word in edgewise.
I tell you, when I did my show at Channel 13 for 17 years, I had maximum 3 seats.
Sure.
Which was good because, the room wasn't big enough with all the camera angles, as you know, to be able to do but so much. So I was happy I didn't have to referee that many people. 3 was plenty. But, it's interesting watching this stuff, and I think it's good to listen to both sides and all channels and see what everybody is saying because, you can get swayed very easily.
Joel, thanks a lot for your time, your talent, and your treasure. Continued success with all your endeavors, and thank you for helping make Virginia Beach the great city it still is today. Still, probably as far as quality of life, got to be in the top 5 in the country. Yeah,
and just thank you very much, and just encourage all your football fans out there to come to our event on August 24th at the Westin Hotel. They can go to Virginia Sports Hall of Fame's Facebook page, our event page, and RSVP. It's going to be a lot of fun, and anybody that does fantasy football, this will really give you a leg up if you come to this event.
Okay, my friend, you enjoy the rest of your day, and say hello to Stan Garfin for me.
Okay, I will.
All right, thank you. All right. Joel Rubin right there, formerly with Wavy, and of course has done TV and a lot of marketing over the years throughout Hampton Roads. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Don't forget a locals tradition is CP Shuckers with locations in Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. Like both locations on Facebook. Log on to cpshuckers.com. Like I said, Pacific Avenue and Shore Drive. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers as well. Sports Scene will continue after the news right here on this August the 9th. It is 12:29. Stay tuned.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And as Joe Daniel just said, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. One website, folks, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit the marketplace, restaurants, retail services. You just click and go right to the website.
Yeah, how is the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame?
It's going very well so far. We just launched the website recently, and the ceremony will take place at Langley Speedway next year. We've got 7 board members, 2 media consultants. The website is up and running on hrsmhof.com as well. A lot of momentum. People are excited about it. Going to be a big ceremony at Langley Speedway in 2018. We can't wait. Chuck Hall and all the board members are listed on the website, hrsmhof.com. Long overdue. Fans are excited about it. It's going to have one great location, Langley Speedway, which so many people from all over the country, especially the Mid-Atlantic, Southside Peninsula, have been to this wonderful venue, including our next guest, Ian Locke, who is one of the board members as well from the Norfolk Tides. Other things going on, of course, the Redskins winding down their preseason in Richmond, of course. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows as well. Question to Joe Daniel, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Are you the type of person who is open to buying different cars? Or are you one who's only stuck on one brand name like Nissan, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, etc.?
I'm always open for the best product at the best price. So yeah, I mean, whatever fits my needs, and that's the point of the salesperson, to really see what are my needs and what is the automobile that fits my needs. So no, I have no real brand loyalty. It's just whatever I need at that time in my life.
Very good. All right, Sakura Japanese Restaurant is open right there in Chesapeake. Go by and see Jasmine and the friendly staff at the Walmart Walmart Wake Crossing. Her phone number is 410-4577. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Excellent sushi. All you can eat at a great price. Sushi bar, takeout, dine-in at Sakura, right there at the Walmart Wake Crossing in Chesapeake, 410-4577. Of course, you can order through the Order Up app as well. Ian Locke, our weekly segment from the Norfolk Tides Media Relations Department. How are you?
Great, Greg. How are you?
Ever since I've been sitting in my magic seat occasionally there in the press box, the Tides have been winning, Ian.
We've been playing a lot better. We need you to sit in that magic seat a whole lot more if you don't mind coming by. We'd love having you, and we love winning, that's for sure.
Yeah, Joe Gregory's already blessed that seat, so we're in really good shape right here. So let's talk about it. 54-62. They played really good. Folks, don't let that record deceive you. What has been the key to the turnaround?
I think it's a lot of it has been pitching. Pitching always gets us going, and we're 14-5 since July 20th, which is the best mark in the league. And over that stretch, we haven't had a starting pitcher get a loss that whole time. We've only lost 5 games in the last 3+ weeks, and 2 of those were in extra innings. One of them we lost 1-0 on a shutout, and another one we lost in Gwinnett. So we've been pitching a lot better. A lot of that comes to the Orioles themselves. The Orioles have been playing a lot better as well. They haven't really disrupted our pitching staff the last couple of weeks. The Orioles have played well ever since they got Jeremy Hellickson and Tim Beckham at the trade deadline. They've been playing a lot better, and when the Orioles kind of don't dip down and take our starting rotation to go up there and perform for the Orioles, that helps us play a little better down here. So we're playing better, and we hope to keep it going.
As we always prep for our weekly segment, we talked, you and I did off the record about the hitting and the bullpen and the pitching. Has it been the left-handed pitching, the right-handed pitching, or is it the bullpen that surprised you the most?
Our bullpen's been great all year. Going into last night, I think our ERA for our relievers was almost 2 runs lower than our starters all season, which is kind of, it's been great for the relievers all year. The starting rotation doesn't tell the whole story because, again, most of our starting pitchers are on the Baltimore Orioles 40-man roster. So if, Mike Wright, for instance, or Tyler Wilson is going to pitch for us and he gets, scratched or is limited to just 2 innings because they have to go up to, Baltimore, then that doesn't help us down the road, So if, Tyler Wilson goes up to the Orioles and he's a reliever and throws 2 innings, excuse me, then he gets sent back down. He's probably only going to throw 3 or 4 innings for us here, and that doesn't, help us win games. So the starting pitching's gotten a lot better lately, and because the Orioles have been playing better, and we hope to keep it up.
7-3 in the last 10 games. Of course, they won last night 7-6, and they got Lehigh Valley again tonight on the road.
Yeah, that's we've won now 10. I think it's 10 of 11 road games. So we've been playing so much better. We started the year 1-10 on the road, so there was really nowhere to go but up. But we've been playing a lot better. We can go for a series sweep tonight. We've won, I think, 4 of our last 5 series that we've played. So we're getting closer to that 500 mark. We're playing a lot better, and hopefully when the team comes back home next week, we can keep it up.
I usually tweet about the field when I get there. I'm just so impressed how well it looks in August.
Yeah, we played 71 home games a year. I think we played 55, 56 or so far. And Kenny Magner and Justin Hall do a fantastic job of keeping the field ready. A lot of people don't know, but we only have 2 full-time guys that are there. And while the team goes on the road, we all kind of in the front office kind of catch our breath. But that's when Kenny and Justin go out there and they seed and they mow and they do everything they can, and edging and getting the bullpens ready. And that way when the team comes back, we come back on Tuesday, team comes back, field's ready to go, and those guys put in a ton of hours, and it's great to see how green the field is and how well it plays. And both teams, home and road, are always raving about just the conditions that the field is in, and Kenny and Justin are the main reason for that.
I want to thank Joel Rubin earlier formerly he used to work at Wavy TV 10 for joining me, and now we got Ian Locke, the media relations director for the Norfolk Tides, also a board member for the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. I want to ask you, anything surprising you in the major leagues as we get down to the final couple months of the season? The Dodgers are playing super.
Yeah, the Dodgers are putting up like video game numbers.
Sure.
I used to play some video games baseball, and I couldn't win that many games. So there's no way. They're 79-33. They've won 47 of 60 home games this year, which is just unbelievable. And they're doing that without Clayton Kershaw. So that's surprising to see them be so dominant. I mean, that division itself, you look, not just the Dodgers, but Arizona and Colorado. I mean, Colorado is in third place, and they're 15 games over 500. So, I mean, if you put that team, 15 games over 500, they'd be running away with the wild card in the, the American League. And, going on that, the American League is so tight. I mean, the second wild card is the Kansas City Royals, who are just 2 games over 500 right now. So there are, the Royals, Mariners, and Rays are all essentially tied for the wild card. The Orioles and the Twins are just a game and a half back, and the Angels are 2 games back. So it's going to be exciting down the stretch in September to see, especially in the American League, to have 6 or 7 teams within two games of each other fighting for that last wild card spot. It should be awesome to watch.
The Orioles, they've got to start getting a little bit more of a consistent streak going on. Don't you think that's probably pretty much it, Ian? They played well at times, but that getting a consecutive streak going on.
Yeah, they played really well early in the year, and then they played really bad in the middle. And then now the last 2 weeks or so, they've been playing a little better. They got down to as many as 7 games under 500 at one point, and they got to 500 before they lost last night. So they're 1 game under 500. They've been playing a lot better. Tim Beckham's been just an unbelievable addition to their lineup. He, I think he's played, looking at it now, he's played 8 games with the Orioles and hit 500. 16 for 32, 3 home runs, 3 doubles, a triple, 6 RBIs. I mean, he has been a lightning rod in that lineup. And if they can just get some pitching, like we've mentioned all year, if they can get some pitching, that lineup with Chris Davis and Machado and Mark Trumbo and Adam Jones, they're gonna score some runs. So the bullpen's done great with Zach Britton and Brad Brock and Givens back in the back end, and if they can just get some starting rotation, they'll be right in the thick of things come September.
All right, let's talk about the upcoming home stretch. There's a lot of home games. We always joke around. There's more home games left than most college football teams will have at home the rest of the year.
We have a lot of home games left in a short amount of time. We have 14 home games in 17 days, I believe, is what we got coming up here. So a lot of chances. If you haven't been out to the ballpark yet, you still got a chance to come out. We're home on Tuesday, August 15th. We return to Harbor Park, and that's one of our big promotions of the year, where we do the Turn Back the Clock night, where we have 50-cent hot dogs, 50-cent popcorn, and 50-cent sodas. And we also wear some throwback Norfolk Tars jerseys during that night, which is always fun. We're home for 10 games in a row from the 15th through the 24th, so there's plenty of chances to come out and watch the Tides. 2 of those nights are fireworks nights on August 18th and August 19th, and then we wrap up our season at home on August 31st with a couple back-to-back fireworks on the 30th and 31st as well. So 14 games in 17 days, plenty of chances to come out, but it is winding down this season. We only have 3-4 weeks left, and we're done. So come on out when you can and enjoy the summer while it's still around.
Quickly we have a lot of tourists listening right now too, because they're driving in from all over. So tell us, and they of course follow all the teams, behind the scenes of a AAA team on the road. Do they get an allowance, a per diem? How does it work for meals on the road and so forth? And hotels, of course, covered by who?
Yeah, so we set up the hotels and the travel for the team on the road. So we're in Lehigh Valley. We're in Allentown, Pennsylvania right now. So, several months ago, each team has a team hotel. Ours is the Sheraton Norfolk Waterside, which is right downtown by the ballpark. So we reserve rooms for the other teams when they come into town, and we handle a room list to the hotels in, like, say now in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So the players themselves they get a per diem from the Orioles that they get to use to spend for lunch and dinner. When teams are on the road, there is actually a visiting clubhouse manager who handles all the laundry for the team's uniforms and undershirts and things like that, and they also make food. So when the team gets to the ballpark, say around 3 o'clock, there'll be some snacks out for them, and then the Tides will take batting practice. After batting practice is done, there'll be kind of like light hors d'oeuvres, appetizers kind of meal for them that they can eat before the game. They'll go play the game, and then when they come back in, they'll have a nice meal waiting for them. And they do that all 3 days are in Allentown, and they'll do that every road game. And then the players themselves will pay the visiting clubhouse manager some money to handle all their food and all their laundry while they're there, and then they can add some tips on top of that if they think the guy's doing a good job. So these guys get taken care of on the road, they get taken care of at home, and the clubhouse managers, that's a job that we can get into at some other time, but they have a lot of responsibility, and they do a really good job keeping the players happy and their food good and laundry and everything. They do a whole lot behind the scenes.
Well, the clubhouse manager will talk more about that next week, but go ahead and plug the social media as always.
Yeah, so if people want to buy tickets or look for recent promotions, you can go to NorfolkTides.com. We have all of that stuff up there pretty much every day. You can follow us on Twitter at Norfolk Tides. If you go to Facebook.com/Norfolk Tides, you can see a lot of our most recent promotions and photos and stuff that we post there. You can follow us on Snapchat at Norfolk Tides and also on Instagram at Norfolk Tides. So, and the last place is YouTube, where you can watch our highlights of our games. We have that after every home game. We post about a 3 or 4 minute recap of what happened in that night's game. So, lots of different places to find us. And like I said, 14 games left in the regular season, and we hope fans come out and watch us at Harbor Park.
Absolutely, we will see you next week, and all the best to you and the team for the final stretch. And we'll look forward to talking to the radio as well on Wednesday.
All right, sounds great, Greg. Thanks.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Take care.
All right. Ian Locke, the Media Relations Director of the Norfolk Tides as well. I want to thank Outback Steakhouse and Mike at 1255 Fordham Drive in Kempsville, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Don't miss a deal. Bold seasonings as always at Outback Steakhouse. Great bloomin' onion, soup, salads. They got that great baked potato soup as well. Steaks, ribeye, surf and turf, freshly made potatoes and sides, chicken, ribs, chops, and more. And, of course, seafood as well, desserts, curbside, takeaway, dine rewards. It's all at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville in Virginia Beach. You don't want to miss it. Excellent place, tourists. Just Google Outback Steakhouse Kempsville, Kempsville, in the heart of Virginia Beach. Phone number 523-4832, 523-4832. Excellent food, 7 days a week at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Sports Scene will continue. We've had Joel Rubin on. We've had Ian Locke. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. hrsmhof.com for the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. Stay tuned. At Greg Bick on Twitter. GREGBIC.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
Always emotional when somebody moves on, and of course, great velvet voice right there of Glenn Campbell, the Rhinestone Cowboy, a hallmark song for decades in the United States. May his memory be eternal. All right, let's welcome Jennifer Duff. Bright sunny day, but even the rain helped fishing, and of course, what's going on at Lynnhaven Pier? How are you?
Hey, Greg, I'm doing good.
What's new? Tell us about it.
Well, right now, we've been picking up some spot lately. The northeast wind has helped. Last weekend, when we had the real good blow, they caught a lot of spot. For some reason, the last 2 days, it hasn't been quite as good, but they are still getting them. It's been mainly after midnight, early in the morning. They're working best on live bloodworms. We're also getting a few roundhead here and there, and crabs are still biting.
Well, does the rain help fishing? I've always heard it does.
Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And this particular season has been, in a word, kind of wonky. Nothing has been normal. Nothing's come in a predicted pattern. Even when we've had days where we've had really good fishing, and the next day we should have the exact same thing because the conditions are all the same, it hasn't been the same. So it's pretty much on a day-to-day basis. We're trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, the tourist ride right by your place to get to Virginia Beach to avoid 264, have you seen any tourists come by this summer?
Oh, yeah. We've had a lot of tourists this summer. We have a lot of regular tourists that come back every year, too.
That know your place, and you're still open 24 hours a day, and, of course, we'll have you on again next month. But talk about your hours for the rest of the season.
We are open 24 hours until we close, which will be sometime in October. We're located about a quarter mile east from the Losner Bridge, 2350 Starfish Road. And the shop and the pier are open 24 hours, so even if you just happen to be stopping in for bait, we're there for you. We have a full line of bait and tackle. And we do update our fishing report regularly on our Facebook page and our website. So you can come visit us, see what's going on. If report's not new, please give us a call. Our phone number is 757-481-7071.
Well, talk about your Facebook page and your website.
The website is not quite as developed as we would like, but we do update the fishing report there pretty regularly. You will find the bulk of our information on our Facebook page. And if you have questions about admission, hours, the kinds of stuff we carry, what the rules are, things like that, we do have a services tab over on the left-hand side for you to check out.
Give us the domain name and the name of the Facebook page for the tourists that don't know.
The website is lynnhavenfishingpier.com, and we're on Facebook /LynnHavenPier.
Very good, very good. Of course, great time. The weather is really nice, and really it's kind of funny. We had a really hot July. I mean, mid-July was like 100 degrees, and it's really nice to have it cool off a little bit.
It is. The water temperature had actually gotten up by around 4th of July weekend to just a little over 80 degrees, so we had kind of expected everything to really slow down. Because once you get that mark above 80, the fishing dies off, and you might get a little spot very early in the morning where you'll catch fish, but most of the time you don't. This year's been a little different because the weather's been a little different. So when the water temperature recently has been just under 80, so it's been hovering like about 77 to 79.
And of course, you got bait, you got concessions, you got drinks, you got restrooms, and talk about the parking. That's kind of tricky during the summer when it gets busy.
It is. Our parking is free. We do not charge for parking. It's basically included as price of your admission. When you're facing the building, our parking lot is on the left-hand side. It's a two-sided parking lot. You go up and around. And if you happen to be coming up and around and there is no parking on that side, we do have an overflow lot directly across the street, and people are allowed to park in any spaces there except for the numbered spaces, but as long as you're going to the pier.
Very good, Jennifer. We'll talk to you again next month. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and good luck with the beautiful weather and the great fishing at Lynn Haven Pier.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. All right, the pick and roll at Buffalo Wild Wings is going on right now at Patrick Henry Mall, 12150 Jefferson Avenue. Buffalo Wild Wings, great place to get appetizers, of course, street tacos, mozzarella sticks, all the best boneless traditional wings, excellent sauces like mild, medium, Asian zing, hot barbecue, Thai curry, as well as blazing too, salads, burgers, wraps, sandwiches, a kids menu, tenders and mac, desserts. It's all at Buffalo Wild Wings as well. Excellent place on BuffaloWildWings.com. Wall-to-wall TVs, always at Buffalo Wild Wings too. Wings, beer, sports at the Patrick Henry Mall, Newport News location. Give them a call at 249-3999. What teased me off?
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
That old expression saying this is just between you and me.
It never is it?
It never
Always
is.
somebody else.
And that goes hand in hand with secrets.
Yeah, people just aren't very good at keeping secrets. Yeah, people like to gossip quite a bit. Actually, I have a what teased me off. I don't typically have one, but I do have one. What teased me off? Inside jokes. And it's not necessarily being outside of the inside joke. It's actually being, for me, involved in the inside joke. I told a group of people a little story where I heard on the news that hackers, the technology has been so advanced that they are actually able to lift fingerprints off of a picture and use your fingerprints to get into personal devices. And so these fingerprints are taken typically when people are doing peace signs to each other. And so I told that to a group of friends, and now this one lady comes to me every time I see her at church. She's a sweet lady, but every time I see her now, she always does the peace sign to me with the the peace sign facing her, so I can't see the tips of her fingers. And so I'm like I told you a story. I get it. You want to be friendly, but I don't know. It just makes me awkward. Can't we just say hello like normal people?
Yeah, those hackers hack the HBO stuff in the Game of Thrones. So really, I'm a big fan of HBO, but holy cow. All right, how about this? When you go somewhere with little or no Wi-Fi these days.
Yeah, that's pretty much
awkward.
That's the first question you need to ask somebody. What's your Wi-Fi password?
Right. This is bad enough. We all get spam email. That's bad enough. But can you imagine trying to respond and have a conversation with somebody sending spam or fake email?
Ooh, golly.
Hacking.
Yeah, that's
malware viruses there.
Yeah.
How about this? When you're driving on the road with your family and you see two motorcycles waving to each other side by side. Oh, yeah, let me take my hand off the handlebar on a motorcycle during traffic.
You just got to hope that they've been on the road long enough that they know what they're doing. The worst part, though, is not just necessarily just saying hello and being friendly real quick, but speeding and weaving in and out of traffic. That is the absolute worst. And even worse than that, I know you might think, what can be worse than that? It's drivers trying to police the road themselves. And I've seen it in person where they weave to get and try to cut the biker off.
Oh, that caused a wreck.
Never do that.
Yeah.
Never, never, never.
I agree. Not to
Let
mention,
them go. It's safer than trying to cut them off and you being, the police of the road.
Yeah, I mentioned also, too, the emergency lanes. Stay away from that as well. I mean, 100 degrees in July. Who rolls their windows down when it's 100 degrees? Turn the AC up if you got it.
Yeah, if they have it. But
I mean,
oftentimes when they're in like an old vehicle, it may not have
Yeah,
it.
you got to feel bad for that person.
Yeah.
You know, the old expression, the third wheel, there really is an expression. The third wheel, it's usually awkward with the third wheel. Husband, wife, oh, yeah. Friends, family members here with us, too. Let's have a good dinner. Oh, yeah, thanks, Susie.
Even numbers.
Yeah, we mentioned the gossip, but church gossip is pretty bad, too.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, we mentioned the hackers. Thank you to our guests as well, Joel Rubin, Ian Locke, Jennifer Duff. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link on the archive show for, of course, archives. Thanks to Bruce Rader and Brian Parsons for the great story on the Hampton Road Sports Media Hall of Fame as well. Those two do a great job. You can see the website, hrsmhof.com. All powered by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com and our flagship website, gjbtv.com. Connect with me 24/7, 7 days a week. Greg Bick on Twitter. That's GREGBIC. Also, you can add me on Facebook, too, at Greg Bicouvaris. I want to thank Joe Daniel and all of our great guests. And, of course, enjoy this beautiful weather. For JD, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 92.5 FM W223CT Norfolk. For your daily supply of news and talk, we are The Answer.